People across the globe proudly display the trans flag outside their homes, on their car bumpers, and even in their social media bios. Hell, even government buildings in the United States, Canada, and other countries have flown the pink, blue, and white outside their facilities. But what if I told you that the man who designed the flag was a pervert, who authored short stories with disturbing sexual themes including forced feminization, the sexualization of children, and themes of age regression?
These flags went up today for the district's inaugural flag raising.
At Queen's Park today to recognize the trans community at Pride.
The first time ever, the trans pride flag flew over the state capitol. The
City Hall is displaying a transgender pride flag
to celebrate the International Transgender Day of Visibility.
My name is Monica Helms, and I'm the person that created the transgender pride flag, which you see on my shirt.
The trans pride flag was created by Monica Helms, born Robert Hogg. Helms recently announced that he was going to be inducted into the Smithsonian's new Museum for American Women for his LGBTQ advocacy. But would you be surprised if you learned that this individual had a sketchy history? I wasn't. I mean, come on, it's almost predictable at this point. In his memoir, More Than Just a Flag, Helms, a former Navy veteran, provided intimate details about his transgender journey. Helms related about how he used to steal his mother's undergarments and try them on because they, quote, felt exciting to wear. He also talked about becoming jealous of girls at his school with an envy he described turned into lust. This strange fetish continued into adulthood, where while serving in the US Navy in the 70s, he began stealing women's underwear from the laundry room of his apartment complex. About the same time, while stationed in San Diego, Helms started attending drag clubs, which seemingly inspired him to continue his cross-dressing fetish on a more regular basis. In his memoir, he described his coming into womanhood like this: "The Navy had made a man out of me. Now I had to tear that down and rebuild myself in my own image as a woman." Soon after, Helms began dating a woman named Donna, who he eventually married. But the marriage was littered with problems. Donna came home one day to find Helms wearing dresses and told him that upset her. But despite his wife's disapproval, Helms continued. He even started siphoning the struggling family's money into his cross-dressing habit. The family had to declare bankruptcy and even lost their home, all while Helms had been pouring untold amounts of cash into his panties, bras, fake breast molds, and special transvestite holidays where he would go and meet up with other men who liked to dress as women. Following the bankruptcy, Helms and his wife divorced, and Helms dropped his family, which included children, so he could go and live life as a woman full-time. Sprint employee by day and adult video store clerk by night, Helms called this period of his life his, quote, second puberty, adding that he would experiment with styles of clothing that weren't appropriate for his age or for a professional setting. Helms even started pushing the limit with his employer, who he claimed disapproved of his shortcut dresses by using the women's restroom at Sprint, which eventually led to the female staff at Sprint filing a complaint. By the early 2000s, Helms' fetish continued to thrive. He wrote about how he would frequent pervy clubs where patrons watched each other have sex in windowed rooms. Though he'd abandoned his wife and kids, Helms proudly talks about using this opportunity to, quote, fulfill each and every fantasy he had concerning sex with men, and after, quote, getting all that out of his system, he began identifying as a lesbian woman. Oh, and it gets weirder. As I mentioned, Helms also authored short stories with sexual themes, including forced feminization, where men are transformed into women to humiliate and punish them. Some other stories include themes of age regression and lesbian body swapping. In another, titled A Woman Scorned, Helms writes about a little girl who never ages and pursues adult men for sex and marriage. That's right, folks, a child. So, where is this sick creep now? Well, apparently he lives in Georgia with his much younger partner, Darlene Darlington Wagner, who's also a trans-identified male. I think there's a word to describe two men who are in a romantic relationship. What is that again? Oh, right, gay. But that's not the worst of it. Last December, Helms announced that he and Wagner were in the process of adopting a 14-year-old trans daughter. That is, a teenage boy who they say identifies as a girl. I have some questions. Firstly, why would a 71-year-old man want to adopt a teenage boy? And secondly, how in the heck did he and his wife get approved to be foster parents in the first place, especially given how open he has been throughout his life about his perversions? I don't know about you, but I will never be able to look at the trans flag the same way again after learning all this. And the worst part is that people are so concerned about their perceived openness to gender ideology that they would rather proudly display a flag designed by a total weirdo than question this harmful ideology out of fear of cancellation.